Welcome back to Terpy. I'm Ryan, and in this video I'm excited to show you part 1 of building a grow room. As you can see, the new room has already had quite a bit of work done up until this point. People who follow me on Instagram got to see regular updates of the room's progress up until this point. Later in the video, I'll put in a short walkthrough video of the space before any of the work was done. I'll go over some of the stuff that has already been completed up until this point. The building got new electrical in the room where we placed 5 regular light bulb outlets around the ceiling. These will be for green lights when we want to work in the room during lights off period. Green light does not affect the plant's light schedule, so if you need to do some work in the space, make sure you have some green light bulb or a green headlamp available. We have also installed eye screws into the ceiling, which will allow us to hang our grow lights up. I have this single light hung to provide some extra light while making this video. Over in the back corner, you can see we have the room's exhaust system, which consists of AC Infinity 6-inch inline fan and a VivoSun 6-inch carbon filter. The air ducting is insulated, which will prevent the piping from having condensation form on it. Directly where the air duct reaches the ceiling, we have a baffle installed to prevent any backdraft out of the room. Over the other side of the room, we have a ton of grow equipment stacked up, waiting to take this space to the next level. Big shout out to both HappyHydro and Grower's Choice for being a part of this project. I'll link HappyHydro's YouTube channel in the top right corner for you to check out. For this project, we have 6 Grower's Choice ROI E720 LED grow lights that will be getting installed shortly. We already have one installed above. Since this room needs 9 lights to fill it, Mars Hydro provided the 3 remaining lights that will be a FC6500 LED light. It's going to be interesting to see how the 2 different lights perform next to each other. Behind all the lights in the corner, you can see our reservoir, which is slightly oversized for the room, but is a great deal, so it was the right choice. Holding almost 400 gallons of liquid, we should be good for a few feedings to cover several days. Just above the reservoir, we have installed a window AC unit. This unit is pretty old and a little undersized for the room, so efficiency is definitely not on our side for this choice. Given my location, it's only a couple months out of the year that we'll have to run this unit, and I'll be working a little bit harder. Next to that is where we will have our control area. So we've installed several plugs in this location, which are both 240 volt and 110 volt. We are running all of the lights on 240 volt in the room. So we have put 240 volt plugs in the ceiling to allow us to have minimal wires running everywhere. The square smaller box is another light provided by Grower's Choice. We'll be running the ROI E200 for our clone setup, and as you can see behind that, you can see the cloning machine that we'll be using. For now, the flooring is plywood. We're just going to paint it white, and later on, if we have to, we'll insulate it and install some type of flooring material. Lastly, you'll notice the walls covered in diamond Mylar, which is a highly reflective, durable material, allowing us to maximize our light output while remaining easy to clean. All the ceiling and wall materials were provided by VivoSun. Be sure to check out the video description for all the products shown in the video, along with discount codes to save yourself some money. Before we get into installing all the grow lights, let's take a look at the walkthrough video of how the space started out. This is after spending a couple days clearing out the building. You'll notice the wood stove and chimney on the back wall, where we repurposed the chimney as our exhaust pipe for exhausting the air out of the room. The center wall was removed, giving us one large open space. All windows were then taken out, covered up, and insulated. We filled the exterior walls and ceiling with R12 pink insulation, then put R10 foam board to seal the room completely. Now you guys seen the transformation from the space, let's get into making this room something special. Since we already have one Grower's Choice light up, we will be putting a Mars Hydro LED light next to it. If you want a closer look at these lights, I'll link those unboxing videos in the top right corner and video description for you to check out. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll be running all the lights on 240 volt, so an adapter is needed, which is not provided with the Mars Hydro lights. I got this adapter off of Amazon. The benefits of running lights on 240 volt are that they consume less amps. So if you are limited amps like I am for this space, then 240 volt is the right choice for you. Now that we have finished putting up the 3 Mycorrhizal FC6500 LED lights, we can put up the other 5 Grower's Choice ROI E720 LED lights. The Grower's Choice lights come with the 240 volt plug adapter already in the box, which is amazing. You can kind of get the light layout now that we have few of the lights up on the ceiling. We will be running 3 rows of 3 lights. I've chosen to put the Mycorrhizal lights in the center of each of the rows because they are slightly less powerful at 650 watts compared to the 720 watts of the Grower's Choice lights. I'm hoping for a perfectly even light output across the entire plant canopy. If you're new to the channel, I upload videos every week covering indoor and outdoor grows, solventless extractions, products, and equipment. This new grow space is where most of our content is going to take place from now on. So if that's what you're into, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell and notifications so you don't miss out when I post new content. Almost 80% of you guys watch my videos and aren't subscribed, so please support the channel and hit that subscribe button. With the 9 LED lights installed, we can really see how bright this room is going to be. The lights are currently only turned on to 25% power. The diamond Mylar from VivoSun really does an outstanding job at reflecting all the light back into the center of the room. The 3 rows is very noticeable now, giving us walkways down both sides of each row. At this point, I don't have the extra money to invest into rolling tables to really take this room to the next level. I can still do some wire management a bit to clean up everything above the lights, which will be done later on before we start growing. With the lights being up now, we can move on to the flooring. For now, we're just going to paint the flooring white. I've planned ahead and left some space along the walls so that we can insulate the flooring in the future and put down some actual flooring material. Currently, it's not in the budget, so painting it will have to do for now. You can also see that I've replaced both the doors with exterior insulated doors. This not only gives us a better sealed room, but it gets rid of the window that was in the entrance door. Since the flooring is currently plywood, and this building did have a leak in the roof at one point, we're going to be using the Kills primer to completely seal in any unwanted odor or stains that might be left behind in the flooring after the years of exposure. I used the Kills original primer in the past and had amazing results, so it was a no-brainer to stay with the Kills brand now. the floor complete, we put 3 coats of Kills primer down, which drastically improved the amount of light in the room. With that being said, I'm only able to turn on 2 of the lights at 25% before my camera can't handle the brightness anymore. I purchased an ND filter for my camera to fix that issue for the next video in this grow room. As you can see, the Kills primer wasn't able to cover all the stains in the wood, even after 3 quarts or 2 entire gallons. I'm really liking how just painting the floors really transformed the entire look of the room. The diamond Mylar that was used to cover the walls comes in 4-foot wide rolls, so we used aluminum foil tape on all the seams to completely connect everything together. I also decided to add a second reservoir tank for reclaiming the condensation from both the dehumidifier and AC unit, allowing us to cut down on water consumption. That will be added to the room in part 2 of building this room. The last 2 items that need to be done is painting the 2 doors. This will completely seal all the surfaces, making it very easy to clean regularly. If you guys have any suggestions on what to change or improve on the room, let me know in the comments. This is my first build out, so I'm sure to overlook a few things, so any help is appreciated. We went with 4 of these Hurricane 16-inch wall-mounted oscillating fans. Personally, I always go with this brand because the quality is pretty good and I've never had any issues with them. I've tried cheaper brands in the past to save a little bit of money and the savings was just not worth it. They always seem to be very low quality. The other choices for fans I go with is Schaefer fans. If my room was slightly bigger or had a little bit more ceiling height, I would have gone with them as the quality is top-notch and dependable. Assembly of these Hurricane wall-mounted fans is very straightforward. I'm not going to be running the front cage as it will save me a little bit of time when cleaning them often. You do run the risk of injury by not having the cage on the front, so be careful when working around them or just turn them off while close. Mounting the fans on the wall is very simple. Just choose what height you want the fans to be at and find a wall stud that gives you something sturdy to screw the mount into. Let's jump into setting up the clone tent. Spider Farmer provided us with their oversized 2x4 grid tent. It's actually 2.5 feet by 4.5 feet in size, making it the perfect match for a grower's choice ROI E200 veg light. You guys have seen me assemble many tents on the channel. If you want a more in-depth video on how to assemble this tent, I'll link that video in the top right corner for you to check out. You guys can use the discount code Terpy on the Spider Farmer website for any products they offer to save yourself some money. Setting up the Grower's Choice ROI E200 is very simple since it comes fully assembled straight out of the box. Just add the 2 metal hangers on each end of the light and it's ready to be hung in the grow tent. This light is definitely a little oversized for cloning, but the light spectrum is perfect for what we need. Just like the Grower's Choice ROI E720 lights, this light comes with the power cord adapter also, but is the opposite plug. The power cord is the standard 120 volt plug. Since we're running all our lights on the 240 volt, we're going to be utilizing the adapter that's provided that switches the plug from 120 volt to 240 volt. Since we want some control of this grow environment separate from the actual grow room, we're going to be connecting the Grower's Choice ROI E200 to the Grower's Choice master controller. Mounting the master controller is made easy by putting 2 screws into the wall. Next is the power cord, then use the supplied RJ cable to connect your grow light to the master controller. Lastly, connect the environmental sensor, which gives you both temperature and humidity. The cables are long, so you have no problem finding a location to mount the controller away from your grow tent. I'm running all the cables into the back of the Spider Farmer tent, utilizing the small hole in the back wall, which is a perfect location next to the grow light. Since the clone tent will have the lights on 24/7 while rooting clones, and the actual grow room will be on the flowering light cycle, which is why it's so important that we don't have any light leaks out of the tent. Being that we still need to allow air into the tent, I found this product that allows air into the tent but still acts as a light baffle. This isn't sponsored, I just found this product very useful. After installing it on another one of my tents, I realized it limits air circulation quite a bit, so I'll be adding a couple more of these to get the required amount of air into the tent, so we don't have a low pressured area inside the tent from the exhaust fan pulling air out. So we'll be utilizing these new vents with the light baffle as the air intake. We can close all the ports that come in the Spider Farmer tent. Simply pulling the strings tight is not enough to stop the light leak. I have found cutting a 6-inch circle out of some plastic material works perfect for fully stopping the light coming out of those intake ports. You can use the circle that was cut out from installing the light baffle for one of the holes. For the other holes, I just use a scrap piece of diamond Mylar from VivoSun that was used on the walls. When it comes to cloning, there are several different methods that can be used. Usually, I go with the tray and dome method while using a plug. This method is a little more labor intensive compared to the method we're going to be using for this grow space. We purchased a 128 aeroponics cloner from Easy Cloner. From my research, I went this direction for quality along with the ease of use. Straightforward out of the box, it's very simple and easy to put together. One item that is needed to run this unit efficiently is a short cycle timer. Some people run the pump 24 hours, but run the risk of higher water temperatures inside the reservoir. I've chosen to purchase a short cycle timer and run the pump for 10 minutes on and 10 minutes off, which will help keep the water temperatures in ideal range for the roots along with saving a little bit of power consumption. The last item to take care of for the clone tent setup is exhausting air out of the tent. I've already installed an AC Infinity 6-inch inline fan to the ceiling. All we have to do is run air ducting from the tent to the fan. I've chosen to use hard pipe as it will be much easier to clean regularly compared to the usual expanding slinky type ducting. A couple screws into every joint, locking everything together. I don't put any screws on the backside as it will be difficult to take apart in the future if I ever need to move it. Since I'll be blowing the air directly into the grow space, I've installed a 45-degree elbow, which will direct the majority of the air into the center of the room. I will add an air filter to the end of this pipe, strictly to stop the very small amount of light that makes it to the end of the pipe. After testing to see if there was any light that was making it out of the tent, I noticed some of the light leaks coming from the joints of the air ducting. So I covered all the joints with aluminum foil tape. Not only did it help with the light leaks, it improved efficiency of the fan. Not that it's that big of a deal for this setup since the fan is oversized for the tent. The main reason the 6-inch inline fan is being used for this is to keep all the inline fans the same, just in case one needs to be replaced in the future, so we can have one spare for everything. Since we have the Grower's Choice Master Controller connected to the light, we need a controller for the fan to control both the temperature and humidity inside the tent. The AC Infinity comes with a nice controller that does just that, allowing us to set our data points where we want our ideal temperature and humidity, and the fan will do the job to keep it as close to those points as possible. Since the clone tent is now complete, let's jump back into the main grow room, installing our Quest 165 dehumidifier. I quickly made these two mounts up out of some spare shelving material that I had laying around. All I had to do was cut it to length and paint it white. The holes already lined up with the mounting holes on the bottom of the dehumidifier perfectly. I would have liked to use bolts to attach the brackets to the dehumidifier, but for now we're going to use the supplied feet and replace them later on with bolts, just to look a little bit nicer. I've decided to hang the dehumidifier from the ceiling, giving us a little more extra space on the floor to work with, since I'm sure it's going to get a little tight in the room once everything's been installed. I'm using eye screws to unscrew into the ceiling joists, which gives us a solid mounting location for connecting the mounting brackets up to the eye screws using metal chain. Don't forget, if you're enjoying this video so far or found it at all helpful, to hit that like button. It really goes a long way in supporting the channel. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to say thank you, and we would love to hear any input for the new grow space. Let me know in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed part 1 of building a grow room. Until next time, happy growing everyone.